Good morning, everyone. In today's class, we will be discussing about civil aviation in India. Okay. As you all know, the reason why we have taken up this particular topic, recently we have seen plane crash in the state of Kerala, eventually leading to death of around 18 individuals. The plane that was carrying the passengers from outside, the Air India Express. Okay. So, and after that, we have seen like huge challenges with respect to that. So, in that context, I felt like we can discuss about civil aviation in the country. So, that's the recent issue. So, this particular information, this recent issue, you can discuss under the infrastructure. In GS paper 3, we have this infrastructure. Under infrastructure, we can discuss about civil aviation with respect to the whole aviation sector of the country, aeroplanes, helicopters, everything. Okay, the same issue under this air safety. Okay, so this air safety concept we will be discussing under disaster management. Okay, so air safety means here, suppose for example, we will discuss the concept of air accidents. Okay, so air accidents as one of the man-made disasters. One of the man-made disasters. So this we will be discussing under the disaster management. So the same issue you can discuss in two dimensions. One dimension is the infrastructure. The second dimension is disaster management. So in the current class, so we will be paying attention on the infrastructure aspect. Okay. So the bottlenecks with respect to the infrastructure. Okay. So with respect to the aviation sector. So in that, we will discuss about the organizational structure, the market size of the aviation sector, government initiatives, issues, solutions. Okay. So this is the structure of the lecture. Then let us go to the first one, the recent issue. You know the recent issue. This is the crash of this Air India Express. Okay. The reason is, this is the reason. Overshot tabletop landing. So first what we have to know here, we should know about what is tabletop landing. See, tabletop landing means in simple terms, here I gave the detailed explanation, but in simple terms, you just try to understand. In hilly regions, the space that is required for the aeroplane to land will be very much less. So what we will do there, we will excavate the hills. There we will come up with the runway. Okay. So in general here, the runway size will be actually less comparing with normal runway. Suppose for example, if you take the Kozhikode runway, recently where the accident, the crash took place. Okay. So that is around 2,400 meters. Okay. If you take the case of the Delhi, the New Delhi International Airport runway, it is around more than 4,500 meters. Because of the space crunch. Okay. So that's why in these kind of tabletop airports, landing is very crucial, especially during the time of rains. When the weather is not supporting, that time landing on these tabletop airports is very difficult. Tabletop airport means mostly these airports will be located on the hill regions. We have 5 such airports in the country. So here what will happen? These ends. So these ends here, we will be having this valley kind of structure. So overshot means what? Overshot means, suppose for example, this is the correct position. Position A is the correct position. There, if the aeroplane lands, then slowly it comes, then here it will be stopped. But during the time of rainy season, if the pilot could not able to measure the distance, suppose if the aeroplane lands here, this is what we call as the overshot position. Overshot means it should be landing at position A, but landed at position B. This is the overshot position. Overshot means before than the actual landing position. Then, because the runway is very the runway distance is very less, and you landed way before than the required position, then what will happen? The plane will stop around somewhere here and it drops. Then this is where happens the crash. This is what happened in that Kozhikode incident. See, same incident happened in 2010. Same incident in 2010, that is with respect to the Mangalore airport. That is also tabletop airport. So tabletop airport means mostly these airports, they will be there on the mostly these airports will be located on the hilly regions, on the hilltops. Okay. And the runways also, the runway distance also will be less comparing with normal airports. Okay. So these are the tabletop. So overshot means landing far away than the real position. So this is what we call as overshot. Okay, so that's the reason we have seen the plane crash recently in Kerala. Okay, these are some of the what you call tabletop airports in the country. Mangalore, we discussed in the year 2010. The same Air India airport, this Air India aeroplane that got crashed, around more than 159 people got killed that time. So this one, the Kozhikode one, Kerala. The second one is in Shimla, one is in Sikkim, Pakyong, one is in Lengpu, it is in Mizoram. Okay, so the Mizoram one is the state operated one. Rest of the four will be they are being operated by the Airport Authority of India, AAI, Airport Authority of India. Okay, so this will be operating the rest of the four. The last one, the Lengpu one, this will be operating by the state government. State governments also, Airport Authority of India will give permission to them to operate, so that they will operate. They can operate. Okay, these are some of the tabletop airports in India. Next one, let's come to the actual topic. So here we will be discussing the background, that is the civil aviation in the country. Okay, so if you know the structure of the civil aviation, then we can understand the issues, the bottlenecks, then we can find out some solution. So if you take civil aviation, you know, we have the ministry called as Ministry of Civil Aviation. Under Ministry of Civil Aviation, we have this organizational structure, DGCA, Director General of Civil Aviation. Okay, so this Director General of the Civil Aviation, it is responsible for the safety and regulation of this aeroplane services. Okay, so with respect to the safety, so for all these matters, we have the body called as the Director General of Civil Aviation. Okay, so with respect to maintenance of the airports maintenance. Okay, so there we have a body called as Airports Authority of India. At the same time, to deal with the helicopter services, so we have a government body called as Pound Hands. So this is the organizational structure. Along with that, we have some other minor bodies also. Okay, so this civil aviation security. So there are like that, there are some other minor bodies, but these are the major bodies. So that are part of this civil aviation structure, organizational structure. Okay, then come to the civil aviation market. if you see the civil aviation market right now in India, if you take the case of India's position in the case of this domestic aviation, domestic means within the country. Within the country, if you see, India is world's third largest. World's third largest in terms of this domestic aviation market. So by 2024, even at the international level also, we will be reaching to the third position. So that indicates there is a huge demand for civil aviation in the country. This is what we can understand. Okay, so if you see the current potential, as of now it is 341, almost like you can say like 34 crore. The passenger traffic in the year 2020, if you see the financial year 2020, if you see, it's around 34 crore. At the same time, freight. So how much of air cargo? Freight means air cargo. How much is the air cargo? Around 3.3 million ton. Still, it is very less, but still, we are showing the potential. And that's why this is one of the potential sectors. One of the potential sectors for the growth and development of the country. That's why we should not neglect this particular sector. How much more strengthen you put this particular structure, this particular sector, so that much you can strengthen your country's economy. Okay, so for this, how the government is actually reacting, what kind of initiatives the government is taking up. So in the recent past, if you see the kind of initiatives government of India has taken up, so we allowed 100% FDI, foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment. So if any foreign institutions, if any foreign individuals, if any foreign companies, if they want to come and invest in India, they can invest up to 100%. They can directly come and open their operations in India. Okay, they can run the aeroplanes. Okay, they can have certain operational services. Okay, so for that we allowed this 100% FDI. At the same time, if you see investment in the last 10 years, from 2010 to 2020, report given by DPIIT, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Previously, this used to be called as DIPP. This is the same body. Previously, it used to be called DIPP. Recently, we renamed this as DPIIT. Previously, it used to be called as Department for Industrial Policy and Promotion. In Department for Industrial Policy and Promotion, we renamed recently that as Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. So according to Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, this sector, that means the civil aviation sector, attracted how much? Around 2.75 billion US dollars. FDI it attracted. At the same time, we are expecting around 35,000 crore in the next coming 4 years. Okay, so that is one major aspect we should try to understand. Okay, next, if you see, next one is this regional connectivity scheme. Regional connectivity scheme. This is also called as UDAN. UDAN full form, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagarik. Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagarik. So this is the full form of UDAN. This is a regional connectivity scheme. So now we want to strengthen the civil aviation connectivity across the country. So for that purpose, we want to strengthen these regional airports. So along with major airports of the states, we want to also strengthen the regional airports. So for that purpose, Government of India actually came up with this regional connectivity scheme. So if any aircraft, this carriers, if they are reaching to these regional airports, then they will be providing some kind of concessions. Okay. So to strengthen this regional air connectivity to these airlines, government even providing some kind of concessions in terms of airfares. Okay. So that is another initiative of the government. Next one is this MRO. MRO is a term we use for the aviation sector. MRO full form maintenance, repair, and overhaul. Okay, this MRO term we actually use for the aviation sector. Remember this. MRO means maintenance, repair, and overhaul. This is what we call as combined. That means the whole ground level. If you reach any airport, we will be having huge ground level staff, right? At the same time, we will be also having these facilities for the repairing works, for the maintenance of the airport, for the aircraft, and for the repair, any kind of repair works, for any kind of changes. So this whole system, this maintenance, repair, and overhaul is what we call as MRO. Right now in India, MRO, that means for mostly this maintenance, repairs, mostly it is being done by the foreigners, the foreign companies. Mostly we have the foreign units right now. But right now government is planning like it wants to strengthen the domestic units. So at the regional airports, at the small airports, there if you strengthen the domestic units, that means domestic players, they will open up this aircraft repair centers, maintenance centers. Okay, so that actually increases the market. Okay, that increases the business for this aviation sector. Okay, so at the same time, we also organized this Global Aviation Summit. Around 83 countries participated in this. So it indicates our what you call our strength and our what you call our capacity in the civil aviation sector at the international level. Okay, so these are some of the governmental initiatives. So next one is, this is the initiative of this Civil Aviation Ministry, this Vision 40. So that means by 2040, this Ministry of Civil Aviation got some kind of targets. What are the targets? Right now the number of passengers are 34 crore. Okay, they want that to be increased to 1.1 billion passengers. From the present 341 million, they want to increase that to 1.1 billion. So that means here 100 crores from the present 34 crores. At the same time, from the present what you call 3.7 some tons of this cargo, now they want to increase that to 17 million tons. Number of present airports around 100. We have around 100 airports in the country right now. Now we want to increase the number of airports to 200, around 190 to 200. Okay, so for this new airports we need land. So we want to acquire around 1.5 lakh acres of land, and we need an investment of around 40 to 50 billion for that. But this is the Vision 40 of the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Okay, so by 2040 they want to achieve these targets. Next one is the policy. So as of now, this is the 2016, this is the recent policy with respect to civil aviation in the country. So there are some technical issues here you should understand. This policy, it mentioned that it replaced 5/20 with 0/20. What it means is, suppose for example, you recently launched one airline called as X. Okay, you have 20 aeroplanes. You have 20 aeroplanes. But recently you launched, but you have 20 aeroplanes. Okay, so you can go for international. But previously we have a condition. What was the condition? You must have 5 years of experience. Okay, so because of this 5 years of experience, newcomers, those who wants to come and join those who wants come and join the Indian market, they could not able to come because they want both domestic operations and international operations. But we have this clause of 5 years. If anybody, those who wants international routes, they must have 5 years of experience. So recently what we did, we done away with this 5 years. No more 5 years. What we just need is, if you have 20 aircrafts with you, if you have 20 with you, then you can go for the international operations also. This is what we call as 5/20 rule. The 5/20 rule got replaced with 0/20 rule. Okay, this is the first one. Okay, under the National Civil Aviation Policy, this is the first initiative we have taken up. Next one is second one. This is also another important one. This is a bit technical. VGF. VGF full form, viability gap funding. The name itself clearly mentioning. Suppose this is RCS, means regional connectivity scheme. Under RCS, what we mentioned, we are encouraging the airlines to go to the regional airports also. Suppose, for example, regional airport, the demand will be very less. How the airlines will get the encouragement? So what government mentioned here, suppose for example, for airline A, okay, the cost for each passenger is 2,500. Okay, the cost per each passenger is 2,500. But passengers are paying only 1,500. See, try to understand this. See, the cost per each passenger for the airline is 2,500. But passengers are paying only 1,500 because they can't pay more than that. So this rest of the 1,000 rupees, that means if you take out 1,500, 2,500 minus 1,500, the rest of the 1,000 rupees, this 1,000 rupees will be given by the government. Okay, so the gap in the price will be filled by the government. That's why it is called as viability gap funding. So if you need extra amount because you're not able to cater your expenses, passenger paid only 1,500, but your cost is 2,500. So who will bear the cost? But government wants regional connectivity. So that's why that 1,000 rupees will be given to the airline in the form of viability gap funding. So this is also mentioned in the National Civil Aviation Policy 2016. Along with that, it also mentioned another point. What is that? Revival of these unserved and underserved routes. Some of you do not even know that in some of your districts there are airports. Most of you do not even remember that because from the past 20-30 years they were underutilized. Okay. In the similar way, like increasing the market size of this MRO, because we want to increase more business for this maintenance repair. As of now, this maintenance, repair and overhaul is under control of mostly foreigners. So we want the domestic players also to participate in this. At the same time, we want the state governments, private players, Airport Authority of India, they all should participate and they should come up with more number of airports because our target is 200 airports. Another important point you should understand, this is the last point, that is infrastructure status. This cargo means this what you call freight goods. Next one is MRO means this maintenance, repair and overhaul. ATF means aviation turbine fuel. Aviation turbine fuel. For normal cars and bikes, we call petrol, but for aeroplanes, we use the word as ATF, aviation turbine fuel. Okay. So recently, under this policy, what we mentioned is like this cargo, aviation turbine fuel, maintenance, repair, and overhaul, they will get the infrastructure status. What is meant by infrastructure status? Government of India under if any particular category, suppose for example housing comes under infrastructure status. So if housing comes under infrastructure status, you can get cheap loans, low cost loans. Understood that? So in the similar way, if cargo, MRO, maintenance, repair and overhaul, aviation turbine fuel, in these areas, if they comes under infrastructure sector, you can get low cost loans, cheap loans. Okay. So under this policy, government also mentioned that these sectors also, this cargo, ATF and MRO should be given the infrastructure status, so that they also can get the more loans at the low cost, so that can increase the market. This is the National Civil Aviation Policy 2016. Now come to the issues. So what are the issues? So if you see the issues, the first one is rupee depreciation. Now you can ask a question, how rupee depreciation can be a challenge? Suppose for example, today $1 is equal to 70 rupees. Tomorrow $1 is equal to 80 rupees. What it means? Today, tomorrow. Today $1, how much? 70 rupees. Tomorrow $1, 80 rupees. What it means? The rupee value got increased or decreased? The rupee value got depreciated. Depreciated means decreased. Previously, we used to pay 70 rupees for $1. Now we have to pay 80 rupees. So what it means? How it actually affecting the aviation sector? See, aviation sector means they will lease the aeroplanes. Okay. From where the aeroplanes comes? They will come from outside, foreign. Okay. So to the foreign players, how you will pay the money? You will pay the money in the form of dollars. Okay. If rupee depreciates more, what you have to do? You have to pay more rupees for the dollar. Okay. So that means more amount of money you have to consume. That means more amount of rupees you have to spend. If rupee value appreciates, increasing means what? Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, $1 is equal to 50 rupees. What it means? Now the dollar to rupee value got decreased. So that means previously I spent 1 lakh rupee, okay, for dollars. Now I will be spending only 50,000 rupees. So now the issue is, whenever the rupee depreciates, if the rupee value got decreases, the civil aviation sector also getting affected. Because civil aviation very much linked with the foreign players, the foreign transactions, because of the international trade. So that's the first one. Second one, operational expenses. Operational expenses means to do operations in India, that means to do airline operations in India, it is costing more. Why? First of all, the fuel cost is quite high. It is the biggest challenge for the civil aviation sector. The fuel, aviation turbine fuel, ATF. Just now I mentioned aviation turbine fuel. Okay. So why the ATF cost is quite high? Because of the taxes by the government. Center also impose the taxes. States also impose the taxes. So because of the heavy taxes, the aviation turbine fuel cost is quite high. So ultimately, who will pay the price? The consumer. If more charges are there, consumers will not show the interest. Yes or no? If the airfares are quite high, consumers also will not get attracted to that. So with that reason, that means because of the increasing cost of this aviation turbine fuel, the operational expenses in India, it is 40%. That means for Indian Airlines, the operational expenses are 40%. But for foreign airlines, it is only 20%. It means for foreign airlines, for them, the taxes are very low in their countries. But in the case of India, it is quite high. So this is also a kind of disadvantage for the Indian Airlines. At the same time, huge competition. So because of this competition, you cannot increase the fares. The cost of the ticket cannot be increased, because if you increase, the others will come and decrease. Because more number of players are there, competition. So this intense competition not allowing the tickets to increase. At the same time, the operational expenses are more. So along with that, if you see, next one, governance issues. Suppose, for example, take the case of this Vijay Mallya. One time he owned Kingfisher. When Kingfisher was grounded, okay, what happened to the employees? Okay, so all the employees started suffering. Same thing happened with Jet Airways. Around 20,000 employees. Okay, so around 20,000 employees suffered when Jet Airways recently it was grounded because of that debt issues. Okay, same is the case recently with Indigo because of the internal issues with the promoters and the founders. So when within the airlines, within their management, corporate governance means what? What we are discussing here, management issues. Okay. So when we have this kind of management issues, so they also affects the industry. Okay. Next one is we have this land acquisition. Land acquisition, if you want to go for the new airport, you have to get the land. Now land acquisition is the very biggest challenge. At the same, land is a state subject. States also not cooperating with the center. Okay. Another challenge is air safety. Recently, what we have seen. Recently, the SpiceJet, it has to ground almost 200 planes. Okay, because they used these Boeing 737 Max engine, because those engines gave some kind of they have some faulty software issues. So we have seen recently in Ethiopia. So what happened in Ethiopia? Because of the same Boeing engine, because of the engine failure, we have seen the plane crash. So because of that in India also, so we have to stop all those aircrafts. So along with that, we are lacking these modern technologies. So just a few days back, we have seen this incident. If you could have the modern technologies, we could have correctly predicted. They could have landed properly. Okay, so they know that the landing was risk, but still they could not able to predict. It was overshot when we have seen the crash and eventual casualties. So air safety is the issue. Next one, we have these pilots. Mostly, our pilots also, they will be going outside to get trained. In India, we do not have the training centers, and we have a scarcity of these domestic pilots. So that's why we have dependent outsiders. So the cost is quite high. If you are depending on foreigners, the foreign pilots, the cost is quite high. So that is also one issue. Okay. So finally, what should be the solution? So the solution, then definitely the investment should be increased. So corporate governance, here the regulators, especially this, suppose for example with this Director General of Civil Aviation, these regulators, time and again they should come and inspect. Okay, so they should strengthen this corporate governance. Early they have to find out if there are any problems. At the same time, states also should cooperate with center. States and center cooperation. Capacity building means we have to create more awareness generation. So we have to strengthen the institutions. We have to build up the training centers in the country. We have to make this aerospace engineering or this aircraft related engineering, okay, as a major what you call important area in the school, in the college curriculum. And with respect to air safety, generating awareness. Okay. At the same time, with other countries opening more routes. Okay. If you have more agreements, because whenever you have, when you're traveling to another country for these international routes, there will be permissions. The countries will not give more. They will say that per day you will be having only 1 flight, 2 flight, like that. If you have more agreements, then we can have more routes to the, what you call, we can have more routes to these countries. So we can open the international market also. At the same time, we have this ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization. Civil Aviation Organization. Okay. So coordinating with the International Civil Aviation Organization. So whenever to deal with any of global emergencies, if at all any assistance required. So these are some of the solutions. So finally, what should be the conclusion? So conclusion, only one thing we can say. So if India is aspiring to reach up to this $5 trillion economy, then the growth of some of the sectors are very important. One such sector is civil aviation sector. So the civil aviation sector's growth, if it is more, then definitely it will be strengthening the ambition to reach the $5 trillion economy. So that's why the need of the hour is to strengthen this sector, okay, to withstand the market ups and downs, and will serve further better to the country. Okay, so this is about the civil aviation sector in India, the issues, solutions, what should be the conclusion. Okay, so with that note, I am ending the session. Thank you.